Yeah. Yeah, man.
Hello monsters, so glad to see you. Now we are back to try to catch them all, so I hope you brought enough Pokeballs and cupcakes, preferably the chocolate ones, but if you guys like vanilla, that's awesome too. I'll eat either one, Momasta. Now, if you see any strange symbols pop up on your Pokemon Go tracker, it might be best to avoid that one, especially if it's the symbol of a tarot card known as the Hangman. Now, through a couple of paranormal sources, their theory is that Pokemon Go is just another gateway for the spirits, ghosts, and demons to contact the living. Not sure how much of that is true, but it's fun to think about. But I do think it's kind of creepy how the game can locate your GPS location to the T. Check out for yourself. Click on one of those Pokemon to see exactly where you're at. Not 100% true if this is a fact, but I've heard that signing in with your Google account also allows the company who created this app to peep into your privacy. So if there is a way to place your settings to private, let us know down in the description below. I'm sure a lot of us would like to know that. Well, in tonight's tantalizing tale, this young boy is hyped about playing Pokemon Go. Now, shortly after getting started on his adventure, he notices a symbol. The symbol he sees in the game is of the Hangman. Now, this could simply be some spirit trying to make contact or something, or maybe even something more demonic trying to do some harm. Well, all will tell. So monsters, release your strongest freaking Pokemon, just in case things get creepy, and let the story begin. I should never have played Pokemon Go by memesus. I don't know what to do. I don't even know if any of this is real. I'm telling you all this so you know the truth, and so you can be safe. Don't take this as a story. Take it as a warning. Ever since I was a child, I loved Pokemon. I loved how it was such a social game, and so fun. The characters, the creatures, the world, it all drew me in. So imagine my surprise when they announced you could soon be able to play Pokemon in real life. You know, walk around the world in real time, see your favorite Pokemon in real world locations, meet other people playing the same game. It sounded like a dream come true. When it became available, I started to download it. I was shaking with excitement, thinking about all the fun I would have, and the people I could possibly meet. Little did I know, I should have been shaking for an entirely different reason. Last night, I was in my room, messing around with my phone. I decided to get on Pokemon Go to claim my rewards from the Pokestop located close enough to my room that I could access it from my bed. After I got some much desired Pokeballs, I decided to check my nearby tab to see if anything rare was in my area. Much to my surprise, I saw this. The 3 footsteps under this Pokemon indicated it was far away. Weird, I thought. That obviously doesn't look like any of the Pokemon in the series. I wrote it off as either a graphical glitch, it's not like Pokemon Go is free of glitches, or some rare Easter egg in reference to the mysterious Pokemon named Unknown. Now, I screenshotted the image and I sent it to my friend Julie, asking her if she had seen anything similar. Now, Julie, who's way into astrology and Pokemon for her own good, and told me it's the symbol for the Hanged Man. I told her she was out of her mind, and she insisted though, telling me it meant letting go and sacrifice. I definitely thought that was weird. What was a tarot card symbol doing in a Pokemon game? I figured she was mistaken, so I told her to have a good night, and I decided to try to fall asleep. I lied down and closed my eyes and started to drift away. That is, until my phone buzzed. Now, I knew who it was, and it was late, and I started to regret calling Julie in the first place. Well, I opened my phone to see what she was texting me about. Her text read, "You have to check it out. Go pursue it. You may have made some cool discovery. What if you're the first person to find something completely new? My psychic said something exciting was in the future of someone I'm close to." It never ended. Julie was always a little too much. I muted the conversation and I tried to go back to sleep. My mind was racing with the possibilities of what it could be. Annoying as she was, what if she was right? This could be the next Pokemon mystery. I'm slightly hating myself for doing so. I opened Pokemon Go. I clicked the nearby tab to see if it was still there. Well, it was. But now, it was only 2 footsteps away. Meaning, it was closer than the last time I checked. I thought. Weird. Now, in my experience, Pokemon never come closer to you. You have to go closer to them. Kinda spooked me out. I closed the app. I told myself I was crazy and closed my eyes again. What is this all about? The symbol for sacrifice appears in my game and starts coming towards me? Since at this point I was too intrigued to fall asleep, I looked up this Hangman. Now, the Hangman is described as the most mysterious card in the tarot deck. It suggests sacrifice or surrender is the best option. I thought this was interesting. If surrender is the best option, should I just give up on this? Well, I wanted to, but it was just too fascinating. This symbol completely goes against the theme of Pokemon. There's no way the developers purposely would have included it. Well, I was lost in thought. That's when I heard a loud gasp from my parents' room. Gross. That's probably my parents having sex in there. God knows I walked in on them doing it before. Just cringing at the thought, and wanting to solve this mystery, and dying to get as far away from my fornicating parents as possible, I opened Pokemon Go so I can go out and find this Hangman. I opened the nearby tab. And let out a little gasp. The footprints. This unknown Pokemon is now only 1 footstep away. It's now very close to me. I thought to myself, how unusual. This thing went from being very far away to very close, completely on its own. That's just not how this game works. I began to feel this terrible feeling. It made me sick to my stomach. I had to get out of the house. I slipped out my door, passing my parents' room. I could see from the shadows under the door that there was a lot of movement. I could faintly hear heavy breathing. Disgusting. I felt even worse and just got out of the house. I wanted to find this thing, but at the same time, I wanted it to go away. How could this be happening? It was just approaching me, 1 footstep at a time, coming closer and closer to me. I walked in a beeline straight away from my house. If this thing was coming towards my house, I wanted to get away from it. So I walked to the nearest Pokestop and rested there. I checked my phone, dying to see if this Hangman was still close to me. My thumb glided toward the nearby button. I wanted so badly to know. I realized how silly I probably was. It's Pokemon, for God's sake. And yet, I truly felt like I was dealing with something terrible. I hesitated, holding my breath, closed my eyes in fear, and pressed the button. I opened them to disbelief. It was now completely gone. Nothing near me but a Venonat and a Jigglypuff. I sighed in relief. I felt like a royal idiot. It's Pokemon. There was not some astrology-based entity haunting me. It was a graphical glitch. Nothing more, nothing less. Just, in my head, nonsense. Laughing at how afraid I was a second ago, I decided to go back home, some silly hangman being the last thing on my mind. Once I got home, I drifted past my parents' room as fast as possible, only to realize it was completely silent and completely still. I put my ear to the door to confirm that they were done being nasty, and much to my satisfaction, they were. I decided to mention to them that I was going to bed and to have a good night, but to no response. It was weird. They're not asleep since the lights are still on, and they always say goodnight to me. I knocked on the door. There was no response. The thought of the hangman came into my mind, and I suddenly felt very heavy. Did something happen to them? What the hell is going on? I began to open the door, feeling my heart beat out of my chest. The high squeaking of the door made me cringe. The gust of cool air from inside their room made me shiver. But the sight I saw when the door was completely open made my heart drop to the ground. Tears welled up in my eyes. My vision began to narrow. My head began to hurt. Across from me was the bodies of my parents, laying in a pool of their own blood. I fell to the ground. Their throats were completely slit open, blood all over the floor and wall. My mind went blank. There's no way this could be real, I thought. I was completely in shock. I just knelt there, staring at my dead parents, mouth agape. My body was shutting down. It was only when I looked up that I noticed it. Drawn crudely on the wall above the warm bodies of my parents was the symbol. It all came rushing back to me. Julie was right. It wasn't some graphical glitch. It wasn't a figment of my imagination. It cut open my parents' necks. I felt furious and confused. I pulled out my phone. I had to call the cops. Whoever, whatever killed my parents could not be far. I unlocked my phone and I opened it to the most recent app. It was Pokemon Go. What I saw next made my body feel completely numb, and I dropped my phone in my parents' blood. The symbol of the hanged man. It was right behind me. I clicked it, just as you would in any Pokemon within your vicinity. I held it up to the wall, seeing if it would reveal something. It was nothing. I slowly turned around, dying to see what would be there. Yet, I was dying to snatch away my phone and forget anything happened. I turned, slow as a snail, and terrified of what would be revealed. I quickly snapped it towards the door, where the map said it would be. The opening revealed the grim darkness of the hallway, but there was no hangman at all. I lowered my phone, shaking in fear of whatever might be standing in the darkness of the hall, when two dirty, long-nailed hands grabbed me from the ceiling. It had pulled me by my head, lifted me off the ground by my hair. I screamed in pain, swinging back and forth, kicking and thrashing wildly. I was a fly, helpless, and I had just got caught in the spider's web. In that moment, I was the hanged man. I dug my nose into this thing's papery skin, piercing his flesh like it had done to my parents just a few minutes ago. This thing let out an inhuman cry and then dropped me. My hands were covered in this cold, sticky blood. I peered up at the ceiling, seeing where it hung. It gazed down at me with large black eyes, long black hair dangling down, feet bound together and tied to the ceiling. It made a grin, revealing its sharp rows of teeth. I stared up at it, like a child standing before an abusive father. I felt smaller than I'd ever felt before. Wielding its long, sharp nails, it cut the rope binding it to the ceiling, and, on all fours, it crawled out the door at inhuman speed, leaving behind a trail of its dark blood. I opened Pokemon Go and checked the nearby tab. 1 footstep away, 2 footsteps away, 3, and then, like a drop of water in the ocean, it was gone. I just called the cops. I'm typing this from my room, as I can't bear to look at my parents' bodies. I'm waiting for their arrival, nervously checking the nearby tab on my phone frequently. I think it's gone for good. So, for the love of all that is holy, delete Pokemon Go. Don't hesitate, and please don't mistake my message. I know I should have never even downloaded it. So learn from me, and stay safe, or else you'll find yourself the next victim of the Hanged Man. So it seems that the thing that his Pokemon game was picking up was indeed a wicked entity we all now come to know as the Hangman. Now, I am curious on why this creature didn't just finish the kid off when he walked into the room. It seemed pretty easy to kill his parents. I guess this creature got them by surprise while they were having naughty time. This, of course, is a fictional story that was written by memesus. You can find the original story on Reddit under No Sleep. In fact, there will be a link in the description below to the story. Now, I really hope you guys enjoyed this creepypasta style story, and monsters, peep your ears on this. For everyone who leaves a like on this vid, you will receive a real freaking Pikachu. No joke, no scam. Just be sure not to feed it after 12 or this could happen. Thanks again for watching, and big shouts to all of you. Also, if you haven't done so, be sure to subscribe and become a monster today. Also, just for the fun of it, I would like to see one of you leave the entire list of Pokemon in the comments below. So spam the hell out of the comment section. Hope all of you have a wonderful night, and like always, monsters, till next time.